as a combined time, so close for the lead and close for third as well. Meanwhile, Rory Hatchard takes to the course in his Dax Rush V8 powered car. He turns his way.
So that's where I was today, taking photograph amongst hundreds of other spectators. Thinking it would be a good photo opportunity, I packed in my bag the Nikon F6 because its metering system is a no-brainer. Also with a 50mm lens and a 28mm lens and 3 different films. And I've got to say a massive thank you to Gregory out in San Francisco for sending me that lens. Cheers, Greg. The lovely people at Silverprint sent me a couple of rolls of Rollie's 100-year celebrant film called Paul and Reinhold. Reinhold. Anyway, it's a 640 ISO black and white film, and as much as I've researched it, I've not got a clue what it is, but it should be good for freezing the action at the races. For some nice whip pan blurry action shots, I've bagged a few rolls of ORWO UN54, and just for shits and giggles, I've also took out some crazy contrast film that comes around now and again at Christmas time. I think it's some sort of funky surveillance film.
In 2006 in the World Championship, and still in factory colours, drove by Steve Bursland, who is competed in motorsport for 50 years and rallying and circuit racing as well. And up towards the roundabout, so we're looking for a 34-second run here, but he's a bit wide through the roundabout. That's not going to help things. It was a 34.
First up was the Paul and Reinhold film. I plotted up for a good view just as the cars were coming around into the straight. Using the 50mm lens, I locked the focus and waited for the cars to whip into the straight, hoping to get their wheels turning into the action. I set the camera on aperture priority mode, which was a good choice at the time because the sun was coming in and out of the clouds and I didn't have time to be mucking around with my shutter speeds and apertures. And with this being a 640 ISO film, I knew the shutter speed would be fast enough to freeze the action.
Through the line, up the gears, the engine sounds better. Throttle not sounding great. 38.8 seconds for Daniels of modifications. Nudged the bail, but that could have been something worse than what it actually was. It's again a one-off special car, and John Doubleday for Daniel Peck, and next up is Mickey Biasion in the Lancia Delta Integrale Group A rally car. Mickey Biasion, twice the champion of the World Rally Championship, and he's the up towards the roundabout. Great to have Mickey Biasion here, the Italian driver, very close to the pavement, using all the road,
When the cars went in the pits for the drivers to have their lunch, I plodded along with the remainder of the Paul Reinhold film to get a few car and driver shots. So here we have GazCam. Gaz is my mate, you've seen him on the channel before. I let him loose with the GoPro to mill around while I was off taking photographs, and Gaz just wanted a cup of coffee but the queue was too long.
Yeah, so we go down to that little hut down on the corner.
And I quite enjoyed this part of the event, just walking around the cars, taking pictures of the racing drivers as much as I could. A lot of them were actually gone. I couldn't really find many of them around the cars. They must have gone for lunch or something, but it was quite nice to just, you know, find the ones that were there, working on their cars, putting stickers on and fix their engines and what have you. And this was all on that Paul and Reinhold's film, which is just a nice film. It really was. And it'd be rude not to get a photograph of Gaz and me, and also Jacob, my daughter's boyfriend. Maybe my future son-in-law, if he's lucky. If I let him. I changed over to the ORWO 100 film for the next session and found myself behind a wide fence. It was the best view that I could get at the time, with all the other hundreds of people lining up in the streets to see the action. This time my intentions were to get some whip pan shots, hopefully capturing the car in action and blurring the background. Now this is quite easy on digital, as a few test shots and you've found the perfect shutter speed for your photographs. But it's not so easy with film, and guessing what shutter speed would be best. I decided on 1/40th of a second and hoped for the best.
The junction accelerates up towards the line with a time of 37.2 seconds. Next onto the course will be Graham Taylor in the Mitsubishi Colt Navy car. This is actually a national hot rod car that races on short ovals.
As you can see, I'm not used to this kind of photography and I need a bit more practice, but I'd much rather be out there taking bad photographs than sitting there with my hands in my pockets and my head moving slowly left to right, wondering what time the car made the circuit.
Go left and right, and he turns his way down towards the junction and heads off towards the finish line, and sets the time of 43.1 seconds. Up next is Steve Wells in the SEWC Motorsport Sub-Zero. He had a spin yesterday, so he's further down the overall order, so he's got places to make up today. Local driver from the Isle of Wight car club.
I found a higher position to burst off the last few frames of my ORWO film, and I was looking then forward to moving over to the Father Christmas film with its high contrast and 1000 ISO.
Heading up towards the junction, the twice world rally champion is currently 7th in the V11 class. It's an older car, of course, than the quickest cars here today. But Mickey Biagio is pushing on. This morning he did a 38.0. I think he's much quicker this time. Yes, he's at a 37.5, and that moves him up to 6th ahead of John Peck. So Mickey Biagio into the top 6.
I walked all over to the start of the race to get a few shots from a gap in the fence that I found, and then I walked back to the straight for a few more whizzy past action shots. Now this is only a short video, but we were there for over 4 hours and I still had a few more frames of the Santa Claus in the F6 to burst off, so I found some cool cars on the way back, as well as a bit of beach and a few swans. So although I was a bit disappointed in my whippy pan shots, I started to study them a bit more closely. What was I expecting? I had a crap view, an unstabilised 50mm and 28mm lens, and not a clue what my images were coming out like. I've seen these type of shots before in glossy magazines and they look great. Well, they would, the photographer does this all the time. Looking at my shots more closely though, I realised something. These were my photographs. They were real and they were what the camera saw at the moment, the time that I took the photograph. And if some strange bald middle-aged man come knocking at my door with a print in his hands of me driving my car at the race, I'd be well chuffed. Yes mate, I've got this for you. Oh really, what for me? Well, it's a print when you was racing, that's your car right? There you go, you can have it. Oh wow, I absolutely love it. That's the best photograph of my car ever. Oh, thank you so much. All right, mate, don't worry, you'd be lucky. Cheers. Awesome. See that? I'm not going to go and criticise that free photograph of me whizzing along the road in my car. I'm sure that the professional commission shooters risking their lives down at the side of the track have got some great shots that I could pull off the local news online website, and if I asked nicely, I could probably purchase a print if I could only find the photographer. But yeah, that's me whizzing along in my car in black and white and framed. So cheers, mate. Awesome. So my point being is, you know, these photographs, they look all right on Instagram, someone's website or whatever, but I think the real proof in the pudding is when you make a print and you put it in a frame and you present it to someone and go, there you go, mate. I think it makes more of an impression, you know, and whether it's a good photograph, great photograph, unless it's a portrait and they go, oh my God, I look awful. If it's their car, they'll love it. So I've made 2 prints in the darkroom. Guys, if you want to see this video, I'm going to put a link at the end of the description. I've made it in 2 parts. So the darkroom session, if you want to watch me make these prints, I'll put it in 2 parts. And I'll put a link at the end of this video, which is finishing pretty soon. But there's one print that I've done there. And this one I sepia toned, which is the one I like. And I framed it as well. I don't know if the gloss is coming off nice. But I've framed this and I think it looks quite nice framed. So anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed this video of the Isle of Wight races, me taking some photographs on those 3 different films. The Santa film's interesting. I've heard that that's some sort of Russian surveillance film that's gone to Finland and been rebranded and put out there when stock is available. But if you can find it, have a little play with it because it's quite fun. I've heard it's a 400 ISO film and they put 1000 on it, but I quite like it. It's very flimsy, very thin, very kind of Astrum kind of feel. But it's a nice film to play with. And also that Paul Reynolds film as well. I've not got a clue what that is. If you let us know in the comments if you do, I'd be interested to know where that comes from and what it is. It's branded by Roley, but or distributed by them, I don't know. But that was all right. It came out quite nice in the sunlight. And the ORWO film as well. Well, I love ORWO. That stuff's the nuts. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget the darkroom session. If you want to watch that, a link coming up somewhere here. I'll catch you next time.